I mean, what do you think at the moment? What do you think the risks are of an all-out, I guess, conflagration? And do you think everything's a bit on hold maybe because of the US presidential elections and there's a bit of a holding pattern? What do you think?
I still think there won't be an all-out conflagration. And the reason I think that is because all of Israel's rivals at the moment have a lot to gain from not going all out, not initiating a war, and not even initiating a retaliation that would be powerful enough for Israel to consider as a casus belli, as a reason to begin a war. Iran and Hezbollah and the Houthis, they all understand that Israel is at one of its weakest moments. And I think that's the only sound way to analyze Israeli behavior. Israel is dangerous and Israel is desperate because it's weak, because it failed abjectly in Gaza, because the hostages have not yet been returned, because Hezbollah seems capable of countermanding every Israeli move vis-a-vis Lebanon, and also because Israeli society domestically is, I don't know if I can say it's disintegrating, but the state of its resilience and solidarity and commitment is as low as it has ever been. We can talk about that. But all of these reasons together make Israel extremely weak. And the calculus of power in the Middle East when it comes to Israel is that Israel's enemies are strong, the weaker Israel is. So right now, Iran, the Houthis, and Hezbollah, I would even go as far as saying, and I'm sure people in Washington or in London would disagree with me, but they're enjoying a kind of a moral advantage at the moment, okay? Which is, of course, ridiculous because Israel's been conducting a genocide for 10 months. But operationally, strategically, now, all the people who are scholars of war might even agree that Hezbollah, Iran, and the Houthis have the advantage. And they will have the advantage as long as they manage to keep things under control. Israel is seen more and more, I think, as mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Nobody wants to do business with us. Even the Starmer government is going to stop shipping arms to Israel. Well, one hopes. But let's talk about, if even Keir Starmer is taken aback by Israeli behavior, it says a lot about Israeli behavior. And I don't think anybody's going to come out and say we're going to join the Iranians and Hezbollah and the Houthis. These are still considered to be, enemies of the West. But in terms of the potential liability, I think Israel is beginning more and more to be seen as a serious liability. So I think what now is being done in Washington, and I would assume that in London and Paris and Berlin as well, I think there are attempts to tell the Iranians to calm it down, right? To respond, but to respond in a measured way. And again, we've been here already. This is April 14th, was it? All over again. The Iranians were considered by the world within their rights to respond in an attack against Israel. I think they're considered within their rights to respond to an attack now as well. I think we'll see a strike. I think it'll be a measured strike, and I think the message the Iranians, the Houthis, and Hezbollah want to send to the world is, we are the grown-ups in the room at the moment, not Israel.
It's interesting earlier this year, just what you're talking about there, the author Vincent Bevins, he tweeted, in the final years of South African apartheid, the white government decided it must 1, overthrow the government of Angola, 2, install a puppet regime in Namibia, 3, attack Zimbabwe, 4, attack Botswana, 5, attack Zambia in order to survive. This did not work. So, it's interesting looking at just the kind of scale of operation Israel's involved in, and that could actually look like strength superficially, but that's not true. And that's kind of part of what you're talking about, I suppose.
I think the analogy is very apt. I think it isn't just this government. Israelis would like to think that it's about this government. It isn't just this government. It's the paradigm that has shaped Israeli demeanor in the region is on the verge of complete bankruptcy. It's becoming completely irrelevant. There's a sea change in the making, and I think it is starting now. These are things, again, that very few people can say directly, if any. The EU, I know for a fact, thinks that they've had enough of Israel. I know that in DC, many people are starting to see Israel as, at best, a hindrance, and at worst, a serious liability in the region. China obviously has taken sides here and is siding with the Palestinians, has a long-standing alliance with the Iranians. So Israel doesn't really have a major ally anymore, and that is, of course, all Israel is doing. But yes, Israel is gradually being ostracized. People are backing away from commitments to Israel. Let's not forget, of course, the ICJ advisory opinion, which is huge. Events are so hectic that we seem to forget that opinion or sort of ignore it. But that opinion was huge. That opinion changed the entire way, the entire positioning of global public space with regard to Israel. Everything Israel had claimed was legal had been deemed officially illegal. There are no more negotiations of the legality of the occupation. The occupation is illegal. Israel's actions are illegal. That changes the entire equilibrium of the system. And in a way, Israel, I think, is also responding to that when it does the only thing it knows how to do, and that is use drones and grow gradually more and more crazy. But Israel is facing smart regional leaders. The Houthis are smart, Iranians are smart, and beleaguered, the new president who expected to be off to a moderate start has to mollify his hardliners. But perhaps more than anybody, Hassan Nasrallah is smart. Hassan Nasrallah knows Israel very well. And he has borne the brunt of everything Israel can shoot at him, and he has survived to tell the tale. He carries, he's not very popular in Lebanon. Hezbollah is an oppressive religious organization, but as far as his authority goes, as his leadership goes, he has a lot of credit from a lot of people.